Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of my Just a Dude podcast. I really do appreciate any and all of you who do watch this particular podcast, listen to it, and of course, comment, like, and subscribe to my YouTube because it really does mean a lot and it does help along my particular process to becoming a career content creator. Now, one thing I will let you all know, and is something that is quite evident to some people, that I don't do scripts. I don't. Not often, at the very least, when it comes down to it. Even my scripts more often end up being nothing more than outlines when it comes to any of the content that I do. And a lot of my content when it comes to, video games is either improv or let's plays based off of commentary that I will do on the spot, which is also in itself improv by nature. So that is just something that I do want people to consider when you do watch my content, is the fact that none of it is really scripted and all of it is done on the spot. And I do my best to try and, at the very least, not babble along like some nonsensical person trying to fill space and time wherever they need to while trying to make content. Because everything that I do has some form of reason to it. And, these little beginning segments to my Just a Dude podcast are essentially just me introducing myself again and introducing y'all to what my plans are to the future, because that is part of what my podcast is, other than, showcasing certain types of new video games that may be showing up, and of course giving you guys a little bit of lore when it comes to one of my favorite franchises, such as Digimon, as well as practicing a bit of voice acting and working and reading when it comes to my D&D journal segment, which hopefully y'all do enjoy that in this newer rendition of my podcast that I've been working on, because I have been working on trying to edit my videos a lot more and doing things here and there, as well as incorporating music that is specifically made and done by a personal friend of mine who does also have a YouTube. I believe they also have a Spotify and a SoundCloud, and they're under the name and moniker of Veil Walker. I do tag them in my videos, and they will be in the description, of course, and they are the one responsible for the majority, if not all, of the music in my videos. As well as, of course, there is my outro video, which at the time when the outro video was done, and honestly, my outro videos and my highlight videos and things like that will more than likely be done with the help of a friend of mine who is also a content creator. If you have not checked them out, I really do hope that you do. They are also tagged in the description as well as in my bio. Their name is Tentacle Motorsports, and they are a personal friend of mine. They do a lot of drift content based off of Assetto Corso, and they also are eventually going to be branching out to doing live content and things like that. They are absolutely amazing, and I would definitely recommend y'all checking them out if you're a gearhead like he is, because he knows what he's talking about, and he's really entertaining and a genuinely nice person. So if y'all have not checked out him, I would definitely love for y'all to check out my buddy Tentacle Motorsports, as well as my friend Veil Walker, who does all of my music, including the music that we're listening to currently. That is the background music for this particular podcast, as well as the intro music to the podcast and the outro video, the credits music for my podcast. And like I said, the majority, if not all, of my music comes from that particular individual. And of course, like I said, I do also want to talk about future projects. One of my future projects will, of course, be involving this particular little item, which is my VPET color, which is something that I'm just trying to get a good picture. Come on. It's not exactly the best camera, which is why I've been hesitant, but there we go. So I can get some decent photos or video of this, but I do want to start doing content based off of these particular VPETs, which I do need to clean this VPET because there's a lot of poo. But I was thankfully, due to a viewer of mine, able to get my hands on another one of the VPET colors. off of Zenon TCG, which is the website that the viewer purchased this particular product for me off of, and honestly is a website that I personally endorse and is not a paid endorsement of any kind. They don't know that I'm doing this or saying anything, but personally I thoroughly enjoy their website and the products and the efficiency of that website to be able to get my hands on some of the things that are a little bit harder for me to get my hands on here in the States. So if you are into Digimon or Gundam or certain other kinds of anime-based franchises, I would definitely recommend checking out Zenon TCG, a very, very awesome website. Now, moving on, like I said, I do want to make content based off of these, as well as the secondary one that I'll be getting, which will actually technically be my wife's. But she did also experience interest wanting one of these, so I'm really happy to get my hands on one of those. And then, hopefully, very much so in the future, maybe next month, I'm thinking, I will be able to get my hands on a Vital Bracelet BE, which is the upgraded version of this, and I'll be able to put it in one of these shells, which is a Vital Watch shell, which actually comes from a very specific content creator and modder who is known as Veek Designs. I would definitely recommend y'all check them out because they do have a Twitch, they have a store of their own where they sell these particular products, and they are also currently working on their own V-Pet, which I am very excited for. So I will also be linking them in the description. Please do check them out, as well as their store, which will be linked in the description, along with Zenon TCG, because I love Digimon products, and Digimon is one of my favorite franchises, and I'm going to be making more content based off of that, thanks to the help from my friend Vale Walker and more music that he has provided for me to allow me to be able to do story and lore-based content with music involved in the background, so it's not just me speaking on the lore base with certain images here and there. Although I do hope to also eventually down the line be able to work with certain graphic artists to be able to showcase their art, as well as add some more interest points to the storytelling and lore videos that I will be doing in the future. And one of my very first storytelling videos were actually based off of an ancient story, a very old story that is a bit obscure, but is the basis of a lot of mythos that comes from Taoist, Shintoist, and a lot of older Asian culture. And the story that I will be doing, the first story that I'll be doing, is the story of the tiger and the dragon. And it will be a old story that was told to me when I was younger by my grandpa, and it is something that I want to share with y'all, and hopefully you all enjoy it. Now, other content that I will also be doing is I will be working on trying to do showcasing, at the very least, free-to-play games or easy-to-access games that are available on, say, like Steam or Game Pass or the like, so that I can broaden the amount of content that I showcase on my YouTube. And on game that I just recently played and either will be out before or after this podcast has been posted is a game known as Postmouse, which is free and available on Steam. And it is an adorable game where you play a little field mouse who is in a woodland little cottage-esque environment that is so adorable, where you are delivering mail because you are a post mouse. So I hope you guys check out that particular video. I've also done a video based off of Goat Simulator, and I'm trying to do stuff that is something that's not necessarily in my wheelhouse, and expanding off of the Let's Plays that I do so that I have more content and more to offer to anybody who does support me and watch my videos. And I do appreciate every single one of y'all. Now, enough with the beginning ramblings. It's now time to move on to the next segment. Welcome everybody to Game News, and the very first game that we're going to be talking about is System Shock, which will be released in May 30th, 2023 by Night Dive Studios, which is actually a remake of the 1994 classic first-person action-adventure, which was originally created by Looking Glass Technologies and published by Origin Systems. and it is a cyberpunk game that takes place in the year 2072 on a space station where you take the role of a nameless system security hacker that is attempting to circumvent the plans of a malicious AI known as Shodan. Night Dive Studios has completely remastered and refaced this game with new images, new graphics, and of course, a brand new soundtrack. Now, let's check out the trailer for this game now.
Interfacing with computers
for their own entertainment. The very notion disgusts me.
Look upon my works, foul creatures,
And weep at its magnificence. It is a beautiful day on Citadel Station.
humanity is
On the verge of a new era. I, Shodan, am its new
God.
Look at you, hacker. A pathetic creature of meat and bone. How can you challenge a perfect, immortal machine?
You are an insect.
You are nothing. I create. I iterate. I fuse flesh and
Steel.
into perfection.
My children. Hacker.
Their blood is on your hands.
You will suffer for your transgressions.
These are my avenging angels, and they will have retribution.
Now that looks like an absolutely exciting game for anybody who is into the cyberpunk first-person genre with an eclectic soundtrack and striking images. This is, as I said, a remake of an older game that came from, I believe, 1997, that was originally made for the Mac OS and the Windows OS, but this will be available on all platforms on May 30th of 2023. Now, let's check out the next game. Alrighty then, and the next game that we're going to be talking about is Dead Island 2, brought to you by Dambuster Studios, which is actually the third installment of the Dead Island game series. This particular game takes place after the events of the original Dead Island and Dead Island Riptide, taking place in the setting of Los Angeles and San Francisco. I am definitely looking forward to this game because I did enjoy the Dead Island games, and me myself, I just really enjoy zombie games. So let's check out the trailer for Dead Island 2, which will be released in April 21st of 2023. I'm ready. Are you ready? Because that looks like it's going to be pretty freaking awesome. Now, I didn't show the gameplay trailer. I did show what was the cinematic trailer, mainly because the gameplay trailers are quite long, and I didn't want to deal with any potential issues that might bring. But Dead Island 2 by Dambuster Studios, like I said, will be releasing on April 21st of 2023. If you like zombie games, if you like the Dead Island series, I definitely recommend checking it out. And now let's move on to the next game. And the next game that we're going to be talking about is Aliens Dark Descent. Developed by Tindlos Interactive Studios, this game is based off of the movie franchise, which was originally directed by Ridley Scott and written by Dan O'Bannon, produced by 20th Century Studios. Now, Aliens Dark Descent is a real-time strategy in which you will take control of a group of Marines, taking down different forms of xenomorphs as well as rogue Weyland-Yutani agents as you explore a moon base. Now let's take a look at the trailer for Aliens Dark Descent.
Sergeant Leo Alvarez of the CM Leth Recon Squad. Our mission was to enter the Tantalus base, locate the ComSat relay, and bring it back online. We found the relay, but there was a problem.
Get that door closed now, Private. Close that gate. Nothing gets in here. Ray didn't make it.
At least it's in one piece.
Willis, take the lead.
Oh, this ain't good.
What we found was a new kind of evil, and it found us first.
What the?
This wasn't human.
Retreat! Retreat! Willis! Open fire! Go! 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 Alvarez! Through that door! Hold that door, Sergeant! Son of a...
I don't know what I saw in there. But I know when I close my eyes, I still see it. Now everyone's dead. And someone needs to know.
Ooh, yes, definitely excited for this particular game. I love RTS games, and I've been a big fan of the Aliens franchise for a long time. I just haven't really had that many games that I've been able to play or have enjoyed playing. And I think that this is definitely going to be one that changes that. Although I did enjoy Aliens Fireteam Elite. Sadly, they took that off of Game Pass, so I haven't been able to play it lately. Either way, this is one that I am looking forward to, and it will be released, I believe, on June of 2023. Definitely looking forward to it, and if you do like the Alien franchise or RTS style games, I would definitely recommend you check it out. And now on to the next game! And the next and final game that we'll be talking about in this particular segment of game news is known as Strayed Lights, which is brought to you by Ember Studios. Now this game is an interesting, atmospheric game that is an action-adventure with fluid combat where you are a singular small light in a world of nature and corruption, attempting to find transcendence as you fight your inner demons and the darkness throughout the world, and you try to gain this enlightenment to grow your inner light even further. Let's check out the trailer for Strayed Light. Now that looks like an absolutely beautifully exciting game, and I do actually hope to get my hands on it because I would love to showcase this game either on my YouTube or on my Twitch stream. And it will be available to us on April 25th, 2023 on all platforms. I will probably be getting it on Steam, and it is brought to you by Ember Studios. That was pretty dang cool. I hope y'all are excited as I am about the games that will be coming up. Thank you so much for joining me for this particular segment of video game news. And it's time to move on to the next segment. Hello everybody and welcome to this particular segment of Digimon of the Week. Now, 2 weeks ago we talked about Agumon, and I thought it was appropriate for this week to talk about Gabumon, who is Agumon's counterpart. This particular picture here, though, actually shows Gabumon without his beast-like pelt. Now, this is an uncanon version as it hasn't been shown in any form of media other than official artwork that was done by the original designer of Gabumon. And this is what he would have looked like if Gabumon never absorbed the Proto-Beast Spirit data that allowed him to absorb Nature Spirit data to become a Beast-type Digimon rather than just a Reptile-type Digimon. And it was actually the very first Gabumon that was initialized into the digital world that defeated the very first Proto-Beast Spirit that allowed Gabumon as a species to develop this particular Digivolution line and permanently be ingrained within the Nature Spirit line, not the Draymon-type Digimon, which are in the Dragon's Roar family. Now, Gabumon in ancient times, the very first Gabumon actually forged friendship with the very first Agumon. And it was because of this that these two shared a bond and were the inheritors of what would be known as the Arbiter Code. The Arbiter Code is what allows these two particular Digimon to be a very important piece of the digital world, as they are the guardians of the digital world as a whole, their species specifically, because this particular code permeates through all of the Gabumon and Agumon species. And it's something that's kind of interesting about Digimon because Digimon as a whole gain their complexity and their development through the data that they absorb. And this not only impacts the individual, but this also impacts the species as a whole, which is quite interesting when it comes to Digimon. Now, I do appreciate you in joining me for this particular segment of Digimon of the Week, and I hope you found this particular little lore dive quite interesting. And I will remind everybody that I will be eventually doing long-form lore dive videos based off of Digimon in the future, as well as storytelling videos of stories that I've learned from, been told in the past, and of course short stories that some people may be sending in or asking me to read for them. Either way, I do appreciate y'all joining me for this particular segment. And now it's time for the next segment. And welcome to another segment that I like to call Journals of a D&D Adventurer. Today I bring you from the Journals of OMP, which is short for One Moment Please, a Warforged Artificer. Well, we finally set sail. And as we set sail, the oddest things happened. One, there was a rat on our ship. And apparently it was a quest that we had to get rid of this rat. And on the other things, upon the deck, one of our members, his name is Leston, decided to sunbathe in the nude. His member shriveled, yet swinging. I remember it vividly because it traumatized me. He wrote no more. Well, that was interesting. Thank you for joining me for another Journals of a D&D Adventurer. Well, everybody, thank you all so much for joining me for this particular podcast. And as you can tell, I am wearing a different shirt. Why? Because I took 2 days to record all of this, and you know what? I'm doing my best, but I do appreciate y'all who have been watching my content and such on YouTube. I am going to be switching up my YouTube uploading schedule so that I could concentrate a little bit more on my projects and their editing, as well as I'm going to be switching things up and I'm going to be adding in some more and other various Let's Plays. That way I'm not just doing Digimon Survive, I can start doing other projects and expanding upon it, and not just posting one series over and over, so it doesn't get a little bit dry, you know? Switching things up here and there. And of course, I did recently post an episode of Postmouse, which I'm trying to do one easily accessible game a week. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, or yeah, about 2 weeks ago, it was, last week it was Goat Simulator. This week, it's going to be Postmouse. Next week, I'm still figuring out, but we'll figure out what game it will be. It'll probably either be something from Game Pass or one of the free-to-play games on Steam. Still, it should be fun, right? Thank you all so much for joining me, for supporting me, for listening to my podcast, and for everything. Truly, I don't know what I would do without you. And I hope that you enjoyed and were entertained, and please do check out the links in the description, because now it's time to roll the credits. Bye-bye. Well, that's another video down. Thank you all so much for joining me. I really do appreciate y'all. And of course, if anybody does want to continue to support me and help me in making better quality videos, as well as making my dream of becoming a content creator come true, please do check out the links over here that will show you how you can support me. There's Twitch, there's Patreon, there's these other links on my Linktree, and of course, I appreciate every single one of y'all. Alrighty then, have a great one, love train, and on through, choo choo. I love every single freaking one of you.